So inevitably, it leads to a variety of views of how worship should be conducted. That's the reason why we see all kinds of different denominations, different churches. We see that. Just press enter on that. Click OK. 19. Variety. So while others quickly adapt to the changing culture, because that's what's happening. Amen. Some hold fervently. Let me back up to what I was saying just a minute ago. So we look at different products and also features of worship as well. You know, because there's some people, if I was talking about clothing, there's some people that is their worship. So there are types of questions that attempt to place worship in a physical place or determine the quality of worship by quality of the singing or preaching. You know, if the singing is good, sometimes the preaching might not be the way you like it. You might like to hear somebody just hoop through the whole message, but I'm that type of preacher. It can be looked at in the wrong manner, but let me correct that. It can be looked at as in the wrong manner, because if you think it's all about money, then you're wrong. It's not all about money. Amen. We're talking about a whole life when we talk about prosperity, being prosperous in life. Your spirit, soul, body, finances, health, amen, family, marriage, job, and all of that. God is in all of that. Come on, say he's in all of that. So emotions and feelings that accompany worship services has been a major detriment of worship quality. I'm going somewhere with this. Von Roberts notes this. You can look on my screen there. It says, many people who come to worship are looking for an experience. They do not want to think that they want a direct encounter. True worship will certainly involve your emotions, but it does not begin with them. It really doesn't begin with your emotions. Amen. It begins, and I often say, with knowing him. Okay? But practically speaking, the more we know about something, the more we develop. It doesn't require you to even shout or dance. Amen. It requires, and like I said, in this, it's a decision that you have to make. So it has something to do with your mind and how you think. So by learning more about the other person, how does one grow in love for another? By learning more about the other person. Okay? But the more you get to know that person, your emotions and your feelings come naturally the deeper you come knowledgeable about that person. When you start knowing that individual, then you begin to love that person. Is everybody following me so far? Now, additionally, Roberts gave a compelling example of God's. She thought about the Lord allowed her to think about how he forgave her. Are you following me so far? So John, let's look at John. Say John. Jane is our first example. Now John, let's look at John. John refrains from participating in a university drinking binge instead of opting for orange juice. Logical, intelligent act of worship. Presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice is an act of worship. Are you hearing me in here? As you present yourself to the Lord as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, set apart for his use only, that is true worship. That's what true worshipers do. And we also, now I don't want to take the emotions out of it where singing is involved, because we do that too. Are you understanding me so far? Oh, I get excited about this thing. Because I understand that when I present my body before God, it's sacrifice, holy and acceptable, set apart for his use. And do not be conformed to this world, but be ye, that says, do not be conformed to this world any longer with its superficial values and customs, but be transformed by the progressive changing as you mature spiritually. See, what you got to do is start growing up by the renewing of your mind, the mind of Christ already on the inside of you, so that you may prove to yourself, not anybody else. I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. But I'm proving it to me, to yourselves, what is the will of God. What the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect in his plan and purpose for you. So how many know that God got a plan and a purpose for you? Amen. Amen. So my time is up. Amen. That was real quick. Amen.